Pyxis! This is crazy. This camera is crazy. I know it looks like a fairly simple box and a simple cube, but there's so much to say about this camera. Since I don't have the expertise of a DOP, I've decided to focus this review on a specific area where I have a bit more experience: gimbal operations and live production. Whether for handheld shooting or remote control use in live production, stay with me as we'll be diving deep into how the Pyxis 6K performs in these scenarios, compare it to the Cinema Camera 6K that I've been actively using for a year now, and talk a bit about the downsides and suggestions as well. So let's skip the small talk and get right into it. Upon opening the box, my initial impressions were of the excellent build quality and compact form factor. The materials feel very sturdy and contribute to this premium look. And I think the camera strikes a perfect balance. It's not too small and not too large. The weight is 1.5 kilograms and it's halfway between a Pocket 4K and an Ursa Mini. If you're familiar with other Blackmagic cameras, navigating the menus, the buttons and user interface will feel very familiar. The camera's compact design makes it easy to balance on the DJI RS Pro gimbal, even with a heavy lens. I've primarily been using the beautiful yet heavy Sigma Art 28-105 f2.8 lens, and it's perfectly manageable on a gimbal. I did need to add 200 grams of weight at the back of the camera to achieve proper balance, but conveniently, this is the exact weight of the just announced Pyxis monitor, which will serve as an ideal substitute for the weights. I also opted for a BP35 Sony battery for extra weight at the rear, which I find is the perfect size, lasting about an hour without compromising gimbal operation. I did test larger batteries like the BP70 or BP100, and they may be tempting, but I feel they tend to cause the camera to bump into the back of the gimbal, making them less suitable for this setup. After mounting the camera on the gimbal, I had to use right-angle SDI and LEMO connector to ensure enough clearance at the back. Balancing such a lens on smaller gimbals like the RS2 or RS3 Pro might be difficult, so if you're planning to purchase a gimbal for this camera and lens, I really recommend the DJI RS4 Pro for its larger size. One feature I really like is that the battery and the CF Express card are easily accessible at the back of the camera, which is much more convenient than the design of the other Blackmagic pocket cameras and the Cinema 6K. Since the Pyxis monitor isn't available yet, I've been using the Video Assist 5-inch monitor 12G attached to the side of the gimbal. Combined with the Sigma lens, this setup is heavy and you'll definitely need an easy rig if you plan to film for extended periods of time. Once available, the Pyxis monitor will be a much better choice, offering control of all the camera settings and connecting with only one USB-C cable. I had the opportunity to check it out at IBC, and this monitor is incredibly lightweight and convenient. Just to give you a quick comparison, I have weighted 3 different gimbal setups. An RS3 Mini with a Sony a7 IV is 2.1 kilograms, an RS3 Pro with a Pocket 6K Cinema and a lens is 3.8 kilograms, and an RS4 Pro with a Pyxis lens and Pyxis monitor is 5.3 kilograms. Now, image quality. I won't spend much time on image quality as it features the same sensor as the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K, and having used this sensor for over a year, I can confidently say that the image quality is absolutely stunning. Compared to the Blackmagic 6K G2 cameras, the Pyxis offers a noticeable quality boost, especially in challenging lighting conditions with mixed color temperature. There is some slight streaking in some underexposed conditions. I've heard a bit about it and noticed this streaking in one or two situations, but this never really bothered me too much for what I was doing. But I'd still be glad to know your thoughts on this low light performance in the comments. Overall, the image quality of this full frame sensor is absolutely gorgeous and the colors are beautiful. A key upgrade on the Pyxis is the additional 6K and 4K 16:9 resolutions, which are not present on the Cinema Camera 6K even in its latest firmware. This improvement is significant for us working in live production, as it allows the Pyxis to be used in live multi-camera environments. In this respect, we have tried to use this camera as a PTZ camera during a test live stream, and the new 16:9 resolutions make it a fantastic option as a high-end PTZ setup. The quality that we got was really good. Combining the Pyxis with the DJI RS4 Pro and the Sigma 28-105 f2.8 lens makes up for a very neat full-frame PTZ system, all with the beautiful Blackmagic color science. We have used our own APCR mini controller, which has the ability to control both the DJI gimbal and the Pyxis camera through Bluetooth, connecting the whole system to the ATEM for full remote control straight from the control room, which can be hundreds of feet away from the stage. You have different control options, including the USB gaming joysticks companion or the middle remote, which will allow for precise control of pan, tilt, zoom, focus, iris, ISO, color correction, and so much more. If you're interested, check out the APCR mini video I've linked in the description. Regarding ATEM camera control, the Pyxis does not include an SDI in connection for ATEM camera control, tally, return program, and intercom. However, theoretically, you could control everything through the built-in Ethernet port at the back. I haven't tested this since I used the APCR mini Bluetooth connection for full control. So the ATEM was controlling the whole camera through the APCR. Next, battery and charging. For the first time, Blackmagic has used a robust LiMo 2-pin connector for 12-volt power input, a common standard in professional video equipment. So this is a significant upgrade from the previous Waipu connector found on the Blackmagic Pocket and Cinema 6K camera. Additionally, the Pyxis supports the Sony BP batteries, which offer excellent longevity and have a very accurate battery percentage reading. Be aware though that the camera will not charge the battery when plugged into AC power, whether it is powered on or off. I would have hoped they would have kept the logic of the Pocket cameras, which charge the batteries when connected to AC power, but since many cameras on the market behave the same way, it's not much of an issue. Just a quick word on the Viewfinder. So Blackmagic has made a notable improvement by switching from HDMI to DisplayPort USB-C for the Viewfinder. This allows the USB-C port to send a 1080p video feed, power the monitor and control the camera all through a single cable, which is super nice. Since it is a power delivery system, you can also charge your phone or even power a full-size 43-inch monitor with this port. So we may argue that this is a fragile connector, but what's great is that if you happen to break or forget the cable, you can very easily replace it, as it is obviously extremely common. And to finish with, I have managed to convert the USB-C signal to HDMI using a dongle, so you actually still have the options to use HDMI. Now, how does this compare to the Cinema Camera 6K, which is filming me right now? As a long-time Cinema Camera 6K user, I don't see the Pyxis as a replacement of this camera, but rather as a complementary model suited to different use cases. The Pyxis excels over the Cinema 6K in the following areas. First, the small cube form factor and mounting options will allow for a more flexible workflow, especially if you are shooting within a team. It will also be slightly better to balance on a gimbal, and although it has not been designed for this workflow, it is much better suited to live production and remote control PTZ use than the Cinema 6K because of this extra 16:9 resolution that make it a viable option for live production. Another upside of this camera is the external monitor, Viewfinder with camera control that's coming up, which is incredible. And to finish with, the better LiMo connector, the SDI, the Genlock, the Ethernet, the extra CF Express port, the rigging accessories, and the overall build quality makes it a more professional solution that will provide more modularity. Also, going for the Sony BP batteries is a much better choice, since the biggest version can last for more than 2 hours. However, on solo shoots, I will probably stick with the original Cinema Camera 6Ks for the following reasons. First, it's 400 grams lighter than the Pyxis, and the all-in-one design with the screen is really convenient. I think that having a tiltable 5-inch monitor built in the camera itself is really invaluable, especially considering the fact that I am focusing manually most of the time with the Cinema Camera 6K. And finally, with the Cinema 6K, you'll have a lighter gimbal setup. It is true that the Pyxis is easier to balance on a gimbal, and the battery and CF Express ports are easier to access, etc. This being said, if we include the extra weight of the monitor and the hood of the Pyxis, the weight of the Pyxis is actually twice the weight of the Cinema Camera 6K, with everything included. So I think I would really need an easy rig or some sort with the Pyxis. So all in all, I don't see the Pyxis as a replacement model of the already amazing Cinema Camera 6K, but more of a new branch for users who want more modularity and flexibility for better integration in specific environments, such as live productions, for instance. So if you want to make a PTZ head with a gimbal, I think this is a much better camera. Now, although the initial testing turned out to be extremely positive, I also realized the camera has a few downsides, and the first one is the placement of the large intake vent on the top of the camera. And this means it will probably be sensitive to even the slightest drop of rain. Also, if you plan to use it in a studio, it will likely collect dust. But I'm sure a third-party manufacturer will come up with some sort of smart dust cover solution. Next is the lack of battery charging when the camera is connected to AC power or external power, so this is something to be aware of. Also, of course, just like the Cinema 6K, the lack of ND filter is a bit of a bummer, but I am aware this is a really hard thing to implement. According to Blackmagic, there is too little space between the lens and the sensor, so I can understand. Actually, I found that this is not much of a pain, because once you get used to it with 82mm step-up rings, it's fine, and many cameras don't have built-in ND filters either. So now there's this other thing which I know has been brought to the table multiple times, and it's always subject to debate, but I really feel Blackmagic would benefit from a much better autofocusing system. It's quite unlikely we'll see this in the near future, but who knows? Additionally, the Pyxis monitor is so lightweight and convenient that I would really suggest to try and support other Blackmagic cameras with this monitor, especially the Micro Studio G2. The Micro Studio G2 has a downside, which is the lack of Bluetooth chip, and the built-in buttons are not very convenient, so making this monitor compatible with the Micro Studio G2 would instantly fix the flow. Overall, I am thrilled with the direction Blackmagic is taking, as they are continuing to deliver innovative products at an affordable price. I also feel like they genuinely listen to our needs as end users, and so thanks for another fantastic addition to the camera lineup. Even though I am in very good terms with Blackmagic, I have not been paid or sent the camera for free. We purchased it just like all Blackmagic products until now, and happily gave you my honest feedback. Thanks so much for watching. If you would like to share your experience with the Pyxis or have any questions about it, feel free to ask in the comments. I hope you liked this video, and until next time, happy filming!